Hello everyone, my name is Jake. This is my first video here on YouTube, hopefully one of many. Basically the reason I started this channel is because I love talking about music and movies. I came to this realization suddenly that is my favorite thing to do. Yeah, this channel is basically going to be an outlet for that. All my, thoughts and ramblings and whatnot, which hopefully, some of you will be able to stomach. Anywho, for my first sort of, I guess, series, whatever you want to call it, foray into the YouTube world, I'm starting a countdown, basically, for my top 102, it's such a weird number, albums of all time. I feel like I should do 100, but there's so many albums that I love, and I can't really, fit them all into 100. Anyways, 102 is, those two albums that are outside of the top 100 are very, very important to me. And I felt like that they should be included. That's just me, though. Hopefully you will agree. And the first album that I'm going to be talking about, an album universally loved by essentially everyone that's heard it. It is Billy Joel's The Stranger. Everyone and their mom has this album. If you haven't heard it, you have it. And it's like that for a good reason. The music on this thing is so magical. Like, Billy Joel, he is one of music's definitive storytellers. He is a masterful lyricist. And he has a way of sort of, telling these great tales of, and they're not really fairy tales either. It's like Americana. Is it? No, it's not. It's like these tales of, just American life, American stories. They're very masterfully woven into these 9 songs. This is undoubtedly one of the defining pop rock, soft rock albums of the 70s. Like this, Rumors, and, Dark Side of the Moon, even though that's not really pop rock, those really are like the 70s sound. A little bit of backstory on this album. Released September 29th, 1977. Same year as Rumors. Don't know why I'm comparing it to Rumors so much, but, this is Billy Joel's video. Fleetwood Mac, a year later. Billy Joel, around this time, was in danger of being dropped by his label, Columbia Records, because his previous album, Turnstiles, did not sell so good. Turnstiles, I like the album. It's good. It does have songs like Say Goodbye to Hollywood and New York State of Mind on it. The rest of the album, it's good. It's good. It's good. I could definitely see why it was, not a huge seller, even though the songs are good, like I said. Billy Joel, however, around this time, was cooking up something good. He was getting his band together, his very nice touring band, which so happened to consist of Doug Stigmeyer on bass, Richie Canada, who was the multi-talent, I guess. This is on saxophone, flute, clarinet, and organ, and Liberty DeVito on drums. Fantastic drummer, might I add. They did not have a consistent guitar player because I guess they couldn't find the right one, so they had multiple on this album. The band, they had a very sort of like raw, energetic feel to them. Very that kind of, chemistry, and you could hear it on this album more so than any other, you know, Billy Joel record. They're in their element here. And Billy Joel obviously, he loved it. He wanted that sound because, the sound of his previous albums, I like it kind of ish. He was not a fan of it. He wanted to change it up, and I'm so glad he did personally. For his production, he originally wanted the fifth Beatle himself, George Martin, and they actually arranged a meeting. However, George Martin's fatal flaw, he wanted session musicians. Yeah, session musicians. He's like, hey, Billy, ditch your band? Forget him. I want session guys. Billy Joel was like, nah, guy, nah. So Billy Joel settled on Phil Ramone. That guy has produced so many legendary acts. Worked with so many. I mean, you could take a look at that list right there. I mean, guy's a legend. Salute. And Phil Ramone was totally on board with Joel's, new sort of sounds. And, I mean, who wouldn't be? There's certain times you hear a band and you just have that feeling, like a newer band, and you just have that feeling that it's going to work and that they're going to be something different, something fresh. And that's what I assume Phil felt when he heard these guys. Phil, you done good. And Billy Joel was like, you're my guy. I got you. You got me, I got you. So the recording only took 3 weeks, as most classic albums, that's the time span they're usually, recorded in their entirety, which is fantastic, might I add. A lot of, I'm getting sidetracked here, but this needs to be said. A lot of newer artists, they, take 3-4 years, to make a record, and that's fine. I'm not bagging it. You gotta do what you gotta do. I hate to be that greedy fan, like, where's the album? It's fine, but at the same time, a lot of the best albums from the 60s and 70s, and I hate to be that, like, Rolling Stone boomer that, like, holds that time in such high regard, but, it was quality stuff. Still is, I think. That's just me. So, I think a lot of the times, like, the longer you take on something, the less likely it is to happen, so to speak. I'm getting sidetracked. But you know my point. You get what I'm trying to say. Now, to the songs. Track by track. Track 1, Moving Out, Anthony's song. One of the best album openers ever. I mean, just perfectly, the new Billy Joel band, this is how you kick off, This is how you introduce a band. I'm going to keep bringing the new Billy Joel band up because they are in their elements here. I probably said that earlier, but it's worth saying again. So basically this song is about, a grocery store employee, who dreams of making it big, moving out, so to speak. Just generally, like, a lot of middle and lower class, New Yorkers. And this song has a very interesting take on it, which I like, at least from my perspective. It kind of, very much seems like, Billy Joel was, talking about, these, like, lower middle class workers who, like, take pride in, like, these long hours, like, hey, this is, I'm moving up, I'm making it. And yet you hear later, or not later, earlier in the song, too much working gives you a heart attack, ack. And, I think he's kind of saying, it feels like he's saying, like, whatever life you have thought out for yourself, if you work yourself to death, then screw it. And I kind of like that sort of. Maybe I'm misreading it, but I really like that. It's also very funny that he has that take on that, because this song is used in this scene in the classic family flick Wolf of Wall Street, where John Bernthal's character is introduced. And that movie is like, a lot of stockbrokers breaking the law, I don't know, it's very, I guess tongue-in-cheek would be the term. But that movie made me appreciate that song a lot more. Funny enough. Track 2, the title track, The Stranger. One of the prettiest intros, I think, to a song. And I think Billy Joel knew it too, if you know what I mean. This song has a lot of interpretations from what I'm reading, Some people say it's about a hidden lover, or Billy Joel even said it could be about schizophrenia, Someone else posed this, other people posed this theory, and it seems to me, reading the lyrics, that it's the one that I think would seem most likely to be about. Basically, Carl Jung's theory of personality involving the shadow self. I'm not gonna go, like, super philosophical deep into that, but basically, everyone has, like, their own self, which they're, I guess, unfamiliar with. That's just what it seems like to me. That's the gist of it. I really dig the rhythm for this, the rest of the song. The band is on fire here. And Billy Joel's, something about his voice on this I really like. His line delivery is it just feels raw and classic. And Track 3, Just the Way You Are. Unbelievably gorgeous song. Maybe one of the prettiest songs I've ever heard. I believe it won Song of the Year at the Grammys that year. I don't know, but if so, very, very deserving of that. It was written for Billy Joel's wife at the time, Elizabeth Weber. I believe that's how you say it. She was also his business manager, so, it worked out well. Joel was supposedly not a fan of this song, as well as the band. They wanted to scrap it entirely for some insane reason. I don't know. But it was actually Phoebe Snow and Linda Ronstadt who convinced him to leave it on. And thank you. We owe you. We all owe you for that. Phil Woods, who played with Paul Simon and Steely Dan, does the sax solo at the end of this, and perfect. One of the best uses of sax I've ever heard on a 70s song, at least. It's definitely one of the prettiest love songs, at least, ever. It's very romantic and genuine and heartfelt. A lot of the songs on this album are like that. A lot of the songs that he was writing for his wife at the time really, really go to the heart. And apparently the melody came to him in a dream, which I find a lot of great songs that I've heard are, the songwriters all say, it came to me in a dream, Paul McCartney, Yesterday. I believe the riff for Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, dreams are onto something. I'll give them that. The production is definitely, you can hear it very clear. It's inspired by 10cc's I'm Not in Love, the keyboards and the tape loops of, like, the breathy vocals, very much inspired by that. I think this is the better song, if you ask me. Nothing against 10cc. Number 4, My favorite song on the album, I think a lot of people's, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. Ooh. This is Billy Joel's storytelling at its peak. It captures that nostalgia and sadness of, growing up in New York, having all these dreams and this great youthful energy, and then it just going to crap. Messy home life, money problems, marriage problems, Brenda and Eddie. It was apparently, from what I'm reading, inspired by the Abbey Road medley and Bohemian Rhapsody. The way those kind of weave different movements and songs together. And this one, I think, does it just as flawlessly and effortlessly as those did. Track number 5, Vienna. Beautiful. Hi. Hello. This is Killy. This is my very good friends, Hopefully be my YouTube partner helping me out with some videos. Beautiful. Beautifully nostalgic song. Much like Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. Although this one isn't as depressingly realistic. This is Billy Joel picked it as one of his 2 favorite songs that he wrote, along with Summer Highland Falls, which is my favorite on Turnstiles. That is a masterful song as well. I fell in love with this song even more so after reading the backstory behind it. Billy Joel was visiting his dad in Vienna, and he saw this old elderly woman sort of like picking up off the street, and he like took pity on her. He's like, why is she doing that? She should be, at home chilling. What's up with that? And his father told him, she has a job, she's doing her thing, she's happy. She's not stuck in a nursing home somewhere. What's wrong with that? And he kind of saw this as a moment of clarity, I guess, so to speak. And Billy Joel felt like, I think he said that he no longer felt like he had to worry about growing old, Vienna waits for him. That really touched me, honestly. That was really a beautiful, refreshing story. And the music to match. Track 6, classic, Only the Good Die Young. Classic. Enough said. A little controversial. It's about him trying to convince a Catholic girl to, hey, do things with me. But she's like, I'm waiting until marriage. Before marriage, it is a sin. Wildly seen as anti-Catholic back in the day. Banned from a ton of radio stations. Which is funny because it is one of the most overplayed Billy Joel songs now. And he famously quipped, and I love this. He's like, when I wrote Only the Good Die Young, point of the song wasn't so much anti-Catholic as pro-lust. Billy. The band sounds amazing on here, especially the drummer, Liberty. He's really on fire on this one. Uses a different kind of beat. I forget the musical terminology, but you get what I'm trying to say. Track 7, She's Always a Woman. Perfect. Also another one written for Elizabeth Weber. And, really, some of the best love songs you will ever hear on this album, and were inspired by her. And it's also one of the first Billy Joel songs, I think, that really hooked me into him. I had heard We Didn't Start the Fire, Piano Man, Uptown Girl, all of those. I knew Billy Joel. I knew that he was like this hit maker, this really highly regarded musician. And I liked him. I did. Wasn't one of my favorites yet. till I think I heard that song. It is beyond words. And it's a very honest love song too. That's another big thing, is that song is honest. It's very much about, loving someone despite their, flaws and etc. Track number 8, Get It Right the First Time. Probably my least favorite, but it's still fantastic. It's got an incredible groove. Great. It's a very relatable song, I think. It's Mountain of cat fur. It's very much like a commentary about making a good first impression. It's like, if I don't get it right the first time, impress this girl first time I meet her, she's gonna leave and find someone else. And track number 9, Everybody Has a Dream. Great. Maybe one of the best album closers. Maybe, please, maybe. Originally this was written in 1971. I would assume for his first album. It's kind of about wanting to, realize your hopes and dreams, for lack of a better term. And this dream, I think, most likely in question was about wanting to settle down, sort of have a great home life with his wife. And I would assume that's why he recorded it finally around this time. And the gospel choir, let me tell you, genius. Overall, this is undoubtedly a must listen for anyone who is even remotely interested in popular music. It's really, even if it's not your cup of tea, which I understand, it's something it's like a time capsule. I think right now, at least, hopefully for as long as humanly possible, that it's a pretty healthy mishmash of both. And yeah, I think the light went down a little. Oh gosh. But anywho, I might do album reviews a streak of, and then do movie reviews a streak of, might do one after the other. I don't know. It's whatever you guys want, really, at the end of the day. And I really hope you enjoyed this. Hope I wasn't too boring or stupid, because I'm very much both a lot of the times. So, leave a like, subscribe, do what you gotta do. I'm Jake. I'll be back.